Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Colin at Black Dog Outdoor Sports. Today's video we're going to talk about fire and fire making materials and why that's important for us. So before we get started, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe this page. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Obviously you're here on YouTube, so thank you. Help us grow. Help this channel grow, help our store and our business and our families grow. So we appreciate all of you guys very much. So fire. Fire is important for many reasons. One, it could be used for signaling, it could be used for cooking, it could be used for warmth, and then it could just be used for fun, recreation, right? So we want to go into the backcountry with skills. We want to go into the backcountry with equipment and experience so that we can be successful. So being successful means that we need to practice, and think in our brain redundancy, because I don't want to get out there and have something fail and be left with nothing. So there's that prepper saying, 1 is none, 2 is 1. So that is for sure when it comes to fire and fire making material. So the fire needs 3 things in order for us to have fire or flame. We need to have oxygen, we need to have heat, and we need to have fuel. If the fire that we're trying to build does not have one of those 3 key things, it isn't going to work. So practice is going to be key here to figure out how to build that fire-like structure that's going to maintain good oxygen flow, maintain the heat, and allow me to continue to feed fuel to it. There are 3 different types of things that we want to bring with us or gather and find to help us make that fire. So the first thing that we're going to need is to have some form of ignition. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But the materials that we're going to be burning are tinder, kindling, and fuel itself. So tinder, we want to think light, we want to think shreds, we want to think fluffy. So that's going to be something that's going to catch a spark that we can then hold and move or place into our tinder pile, kindling, and then we're going to have that catch and burn, and then we can add fuel to that. So a really great example, something you have lots of at home that you can kind of start to sandwich bag and store away. My wife thinks I'm crazy for doing that, is laundry lint. So every time you do laundry, you're supposed to empty that lint trap. Well, laundry lint is extremely flammable, and we can collect that up into small bags, little containers. You can add a spoonful of beeswax to it. You can add a spoonful of Vaseline to it and kind of make like a putty out of it. It actually works extremely well, and that's something that you have at home that you've been throwing away for a long, long time. So stop throwing it away, start putting it in bags, start adding jelly goo to it so that it's going to be a better fire starter for you. So natural fire starting, tinder. There's all sorts of things out there in the wildlife that we can gather up, crunch, twist, spin, break down, and then make into that tinder pile, if you will. So if we're going to be bringing things with us, which is super smart, we want to use the things that we're bringing with us later, and we want to use what's natural and around us first, because if something happens and I need that fire immediately and I do not have time to go gather and find, I want to reach into my bag and grab that pre-made tinder so I can get that fire started lickety-split. Okay? And then kindling is going to be like, if you can think of coat hanger, metal original coat hangers, that thin wire that the coat hanger is made of, that material that we're going to be then igniting with our tinder bundle is going to be that size and smaller. So think like toothpicks and think like coat hanger diameter for our initial kindling. And then we're going to kind of get bigger into our fuel. So the first size of fuel that I would think about is going to be like pencil or pinky diameter, and then you can kind of obviously go up from there. We need enough fuel to create that heat so that we have sustained burning, that we can add more fuel to the fire. So if we just start with a really good tinder bundle, we ignite that, we throw in a handful of kindling, and I go to put a big log on, there's not going to be enough heat there to generate, to burn that log, and our fire will go out. So we have to build up in small steps to get to the point where we can build bigger fuel. Okay, so what is in my fire kit? Let's go through it. So this is my fire kit. It's fairly large. It has many, many redundancies to it, and it's in a waterproof bag. So this is a Magpul Daka pouch. I like these because they're pretty versatile and handy, and they're waterproof, which is nice. So before we open the bag, there's 3 ways of starting fires. So there's 4 actually. So there's a chemical reaction, which we're not going to talk about. There is friction, which is going to be like that bow. So you're moving back and forth, creating friction. There is the plow method, where we're actually driving into something, creating that friction. And then there's going to be direct heat, which is going to be match, lighter, flint and steel ferrocerium rod, and then there's sun, solar. Okay, so in my kit, I carry natural material for tinder. As I'm outside, as I'm walking and hiking, hunting, I'm always looking for something that I can grab, use. I stick it in my pocket, grab it, and hang it off the back of the pack if it's wet or moist, and then I will wrap it up and keep it in my bag. So again, we want to use natural tinder material versus what I'm bringing with me, because this is always abundant in theory. I want to use what's around me first, and then if things are bad, open up this bag and dig deep to find my emergency resource. Okay, I'm just going to empty everything out here. All right, so again, this bag is fantastic for gathering water, gathering berries, food, whatnot, gathering tinder material. So having something, again, that's waterproof and pretty rugged is really, really awesome. So they're like, I don't know, 20 bucks for different size bags. They work well. Okay, so we're talking about tinder type material. So natural things like birch bark, it's great. It's going to work when wet. It's going to be fairly abundant here in the Northeast. So that's something we want to keep our eyes out for. We don't want to be peeling big circles of birch bark off the tree, because that's going to kill the tree. We want to find what's dangling, hanging, or shredding, and we can kind of cut that, pull that away, and then gather that up and store it for a rainy day. These are going to be pretty handy. So they're a plastic packet of gel. So it's just a fire starting gel. You can open it, squeeze it into a pile, and then hit that with direct heat flame, and it's going to catch and then burn. So pretty handy to have. Again, waterproof pouch, pretty awesome. The next thing that I've got is going to be by Pyro Putty, and I have 2 of these. I only carry one with me typically. They make one for summer, and then they make one for winter. So I'm going to carry the summer now because it's summer, and I'll carry this one during hunting season because that's closer to winter. This stuff is really neat. It's made in America. Who doesn't like that? It's a putty, and it's extremely fibrous. So we can mold that, shape that, make it into a roll, make it into a patty, make it into a circle, whatever we want to do. And we want to have those fibers exposed, because that's what's going to catch our flame, and then it's going to burn inwards and igniting the rest of the putty. Works when wet, which is great. The bigger the pile, the bigger the flame, right? So practice with different amounts to see how much you really can get away with. We want to use this resource last, because once it's gone, it's gone. Birch bark and other material that we find outside, hopefully it's there always. So we want to use what's available first. Okay. The next thing that I have, as far as fire starting, tinder. These are pretty cool. These are made by UCO. So these are the Sweet Fires. They come in packages of 3. The box that I bought came with 9. So it's quite a nice little, tin box. You can utilize that tin box to start to store some of the stuff. These are like a fire starting log with a giant match head, which is ingenious. So they come with match strikers. They come with 3 of them per pack of 3, which is good, redundant, right? So we strike it, it's going to big flame, and then it's going to catch and then burn down the log. So this is going to give me a long burn time to help kind of push and move everything around so that that fire will actually catch. Really cool, super neat. I just like these a lot. They're awesome. Okay, I am going to then carry a candle. So I'm going to carry a candle because if I have a lighter, I don't want to utilize that lighter for an extended period of time because I'm burning fuel. I want a quick flame, and I can light the candle, and I can set it down, and I can do what I want to do with some light, and then I can grab this candle and I can move it around and do different things without continually striking matches or striking my lighter. So continual flame, like 9 hours, wicked good. Again, these are made by UCO. There's lanterns that these fit in. I have 1 or 2, maybe more, of the single lanterns. And then they make a 3 candle lantern, which is really nice. So really, really cool, good quality products. You can actually boil water on these if they're in the lantern, which is neat. So definitely grab one of these, throw that in your pack. Okay, so now we're into the fire making material. The fire starting material. So we have friction materials, that bow. We have the plow method. I don't have any of those in my pack. Those would be something I would create in the field. And honestly, if I don't have to use those, that's awesome, because they're really hard. The one that I really do like that is also challenging, but it requires extreme sunlight, is going to be the mirror method. So the mirror method is really cool, fairly simple. It's a 5 or 6 power magnifying glass, and it comes in a little felt pouch. And I can get this through the Pathfinder School, which is Dave Canterbury's school. and he sells all sorts of cool survival stuff. You can also get it, I believe, off of Sean Kelly, Corporal's Corners page. So this is something I do not sell in the shop here. Everything else here we do. Shout out to those guys. So, okay, so I'm going to try to utilize what's hardest skill-wise. One, to maintain practice, get that experience, build the confidence so that if I needed to in a pinch, I know how to do that type of method of fire. Also, I don't want to be depleting the resources I'm bringing with me. So if I know I'm going to be making a fire, I'm going to get started early while the sun is bright, and I'm going to use that mirror method, get that fire going, build that fire up, and then I can go off and do different things and have that hotbed of coals to come back to later. So we want to work on fire building skills. We want to try what's difficult first, so that we get that confidence, that skill. If we needed it in an emergency, we've got that to fall back on. Okay, the next method that I'm going to go to that's still fairly primitive is going to be flint and steel or a ferrocerium rod. So the ferrocerium rod is replaceable. This is made by Exotac. So this comes out when we've depleted it or scraped it all off. In the aluminum handle, there is a spot back here for storage of extra tinder, which is cool. I've used that already, so I do need to replace that. And in the cord itself, if you take off the plastic piece, bring it apart, unwind, there's lines inside the paracord that are flammable fire starting material, which is super awesome. Okay, so the flint and steel or ferrocerium rod, I'm going to use the spine or the back of my blade. I'm going to strike it into the fire or pull the knife back, showering that tinder pile with many, many, many extremely hot sparks. So the ferrocerium you can actually shave off into your tinder bottle, and that's going to give us a little bit more explosive energy when those sparks land. Really, really cool. I like these a lot. They're awesome. I've probably started 100 fires with these. They're awesome. Standard flint and steel, really, really great, but you have to have flint or extremely hard rocks and an extremely hard knife. Really good to practice. You need to have that kind of char cloth with you, which is basically burned cotton into a charry material that catches and holds a spark really, really well. So that's a whole different thing. Like the ferrocerium rod, take some practice. Okay, now we're getting easier and easier. So the easier method of starting fires after that is going to be with matches. So waterproof, stormproof, windproof matches are by far the way to go. These are made by Endor. That's out of the UK. These are storm matches. They work wicked, wicked good. Waterproof right now hasn't been cracked. Comes with a striker on the bottom and a striker on the top. Inside the bottom here is also cotton, which we could totally use as tinder if need be. So really clever, really cool, compact, lightweight, excellent, excellent material. Okay, so again, once the matches are gone, they're gone, right? So I'm going to use those other fire starting material methods so I don't have to tap into those resources that I'm bringing with me. This is going to be the easiest so far. So this is a standard Bic lighter. This is in an Exotac sleeve. It's a waterproof rubberized sleeve. I can hang it from my pack many different places. It is wicked good. The beautiful thing about a Bic is that it's first time every time. So these are fantastic. They work well, and you get 2 of them for $3.99 at any gas station, which is cool. So this little rubber pouch keeps your lighter dry 100%, which is awesome. It's like 17 bucks, really cool. That pretty much covers the material that I have for starting fires and some tinder that I'm going to be bringing with me. So if you've got questions, if you need gear and material, please feel free to stop by and see us at Black Dog Outdoor Sports, or you can shop us online at blackdogoutdoorsports.com. Like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram. Shoot straight. Keep your lines tight.